Goeiedag en hartlik welkom by die episode van Agri Monitor. Ek is Elvirating en ek kuier oudergewoonte saam met julle in hierdie landbou-uitsending. Nou in vandag se Agri Monitor in die plaasgesegment kuier ons saam met AgriBank by 'n paar suksesvolle boere. Nou ja, meestal pluimveeboere wat dan nou hul suksesverhale met ons deel. In vandag se nuusgesprek is minister Calle Sclettwein weer aan die woord. Nou hy het tydens die onlangse Afrika Konferensie vir water en higiëne sake wat op Swakopmund plaasgevind het, dan nou gepraat.
Funding part of it and the risk aspects that are related to the potato production is also
I am Valerie Harados. This is at Farm Aniswep, Erongo region. I'm currently farming of poultry, livestock, and partly doing gardening. I have got some training from AgriBank, and since then I got the interest, although I had already the dual chickens that I was farming with. I got more interest, and then I purchased other races of poultry also. So the training from AgriBank really helps me. I know now how to farm, how to make some income, put some food on my table for my family. So, and I'm very happy with the training. Currently, as you can see, I have here layers of which I'm getting eggs for us to eat and then also for selling. Currently, I'm a weekend farmer, but hopefully after 4 years, I will become a full-time farmer, and I can't do it for that. I want to become a full-time farmer doing my poultry because I have experience that one can make money from it and especially put food on the farm. So in the future, I will enlarge. I'm planning to enlarge my poultry especially, and also my gardening, because this year I started with the gardening partly. So that's two things that I want to do. And with the experience that I got and the teaching, the workshops that I got from AgriBank, I am planning to do it, and I know I can do the best out of it. I'd really like to encourage, especially the young ladies, to start, especially with the poultry, on a small scale, because you are putting food on the table and then you make some money. So because I will not really tell a lady that is over 50 years to start now, because first of all you have to have passion for agriculture, and then if you're starting it in a later stage or age, it's really difficult. Because especially with the livestock, when drought is coming, then it's difficult. You need to have that strength to pull through, otherwise you will not do. But for the young ladies, I will really encourage. Let's start to do farming. Staying on a farm, it's the same like even in an urban farm. Like us at the farm, nowadays We are having solar electricity, the water is there. You don't miss actually to be on a farm. You don't go and buy food every day. You are getting it from your poultry and from your garden. So I will really encourage the young ladies to start, to plant, and to farm with chickens. Thank you.
In this week's edition, I would like to talk to you about diversification. Now, diversification sounds like a big word, but what it simply means is having different lines of production within the agriculture sector. Now, traditionally, we are used to only keeping goats, sheep, and cattle, but nowadays, with the smaller portions of land that we have, and with the many challenges that we are facing, we have to think about diversification in agriculture. Now, in my background, you will see there's a poultry project going. There are others as well. There are piggery, where you do pig farming. There are vegetable production. It depends on what resources is available on your piece of land. In areas where you have sufficient water, I would recommend that you start with crop production, produce some food for you, and at the end of the day, I must also include some pasture feeds which you can feed to your animals in seasons of droughts. Now, talking about drought, we all know that every now and then Namibia is faced with challenges concerning drought, and that is why we have to look at other possibilities of generating income, preferably looking at one or two possibilities of farming entities which are not dependable on rainfall. So at the end of the day, all the different entities on the farm will supplement each other. Each one will give you a bit of income, and at the end of the day, it will fill up the cup. And for you as the farmer, it would also help you to, on a continuous basis, have a good income, to look after your family, to contribute towards the GDP of the country at large. So that's why we really recommend to look at more than one farming entity. Our portions of land has become smaller, so it is advisable to keep as many production lines as possible. With those few words, I wish you a happy farming venture. I thank you.
Good day, farmers. Here is your weekly tip. Make sure that your animals are well taken care of in terms of health. Make sure that they have enough food, nutritious food, not just food, but it should be nutritious food, and it should be enough food as well. So make sure that they are also well taken care of in terms of water provision. They must have clean, fresh water all the time. And now that it's hot, your animals will be dehydrated, so they will need enough water. And make sure that also the water that they are drinking is also clean and fresh. And make sure that you also clean the water troughs, even the feeding troughs. Make sure that also they are very clean, so that they don't pose any health risks to your animals. Yeah, sometimes you find that there's a lot of organisms in water, dirty materials in water. So if your animals drink such water, they may be contaminated, or they may pick up some parasites, for example. So make sure that water is fresh and clean all the time.
Did you know you can buy a new or second-hand vehicle, such as light delivery vans, trailers, small trucks and tractors for agricultural use? The repayment period for these vehicles ranges between 5 and 10 years. Contact your nearest AgriBank branch or visit our website at www.agribank.com.na for more information about this loan product. You can also visit us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. AgriBank, your all-season bank.
I want to highlight some of these issues that are significant changes that need to be addressed. As I said, we are concurrently participating with the Africa Saam Conference. Recently, we have concluded the African Summit on Climate in Nairobi with a declaration calling for concrete action on reforms that lead to a new financing architecture that is responsive to Africa's needs. The same declaration recognizes that the severe negative effects of climate change has on the fresh water cycle, and therefore the needs to accelerate and improve capacities to address these commensurate risks. During the United Nations General Assembly in New York last month, we launched, through the high-level panel, the Financing the Gap strategy, a campaign where we try to mobilize and improve own resources from the African continent to fund the gap in the water and sanitation sector. And last week we concluded the 7th Cairo Water Week, which prepared us for COP28 that is to happen in Abu Dhabi next month. In all these meetings, it is correctly stated that Africa has the most youthful population. It is right to say that Africa can become the breadbasket of the world, and it is very appropriate to reiterate that Africa has a resource base that should enable us to achieve industrialization and prosperity for all. Unfortunately, however, it is equally correct to state that the development, investment, and financing of sanitation and water on the continent is regressive. Instead of increasing and improving our ability, it is declining. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we must be very clear about the fact that Africa's ambition to elevate her population out of poverty towards prosperity through accelerated industrialization and agricultural development will be transformed into actionable progress only, and the stress is on only if the basic enablers like sanitation and water is available securely, sustainably, and affordably. Africa's immediate challenge is to meet the targets of the SDG 6, which includes the supply of fresh water and fresh and safe water to 400 million people who have, as we speak, no access to such a resource. We must provide sanitation to 800 million of people. We have to avail water to millions of people living in informal urban settlements. And we must prevent water pollution. Because of the lack of sanitation, all our sewage, or most of our sewage, goes into our rivers and our wetlands, the very source we are depending to provide fresh water to our people. It is therefore abundantly clear that we have to stand ready to unlock Africa's development potential by availing water as a pivotal enabler for social economic development, by availing sanitation and hygiene to our people, because it is they who must grow into prosperity, and to include agriculture and the necessity of water for agriculture as an industry. Our development ambitions must be lived up to while facing a severe climate change crisis, which holds existential risk for life because it is directly impacting on the water cycle. I've said in my introductory remarks to the Afrika saam meeting that 90% of the impact of climate crisis are water related. So we have to not only fund the mitigation of the climate crisis, we must also fund to survive the impact of that crisis. The effects are now very clearly visible with droughts, floods of increased intensity, floods that are out of season, storms that are out of season, intense wildfires and consequent flooding, unprecedented heat waves, glacier melting, ocean level rising. We know all these impacts. All these climate changes are having severe impact, as I said, on the water cycle, making secure sanitation and water supply not only more difficult, but most importantly for this Council, more expensive and often out of reach for developing countries. Shortfalls in the required funding to address climate change and related water cycle aspects remain huge. Secondly, however, we have a financial crisis, and it is very much explicit and clear on the African continent. We have a debt crisis. We have exchange trends. We have got inflation very high, and we suffer all the consequences of weaponizing the financial rules, all of which is fueling inequality and make the future prospects for developing economies much more difficult. This is especially relevant for Africa with its youthful population, where the conducive economic climate for quality economic growth and job creation is much needed to ensure prosperity for our children, to have a prospect, to have a hopeful and prosperous future for the next generation. Thirdly, we are not only in a financial crisis, we are also in a political crisis, with wars and political instability on the continent, but the world over, being increases. This brings about enormous collateral damage to the African continent and its economies and its people. Make no mistake, we are paying for these wars. They are not for free. They are destructive. They undo the little that we have achieved in development up to now. And we are making that a matter that it is not seen. I think we have to put emphasis on it. We must say it. We must make sure that people who are the ultimate sovereigns know what the consequences are. The African Water Facility was established in 2004 by the African Ministers' Council on Water and set up as a special fund in the African Development Bank. It is a unique and transformative continental accelerator, mobilizing financial resources for the preparation of water and sanitation investment projects. And it is in support of the achievement of water security and sanitation for all. As a governing council, our function is now to align the aim, the objectives, and the strategies of this fund to be in tandem and responsive to the climate change, to climate funding, to adaptation funding, where most of the resources of donors and development partners will flow to. It is not a run-of-the-mill or a business as usual anymore. We have to align, and we have to see what are the requirements, what are the conditions, how can we align to source funding from the climate change. Because of the impact of climate change being 90% of the water cycle, I think we stand a good chance to be convincing in our arguments. We must think and recommend how we can better
Van dese week se veilings lyk dan soos volg. Op 14 November het Agra veilings op Namitubis en Aminois. WLA het 'n veiling op Reeuwbot. Op 15 November het Agra veilings op Grootfontein, Gobabis en Aranos en die WLA 'n grootvee-veiling op Hoogveld. Op 16 November het Agra veilings op Alp en Helmeringhausen en Blouberg 'n veiling op Otjiwarongo. Die WLA dan ook 'n veiling op Kalkrand. Op 17 November het Agra 'n veiling op Korrigas. Dagboek vir die landbouer. Van 20 tot 23 November word 'n familieboerdery meestersklas opleidingsgeleentheid saam met Theo Foster aangebied. Dit vind dan nou op 3 dorpe in die land plaas, Keetmanshoop, Okahanja en Shimep op 20, 22 en 23 November. Nou volg dan nou die NLI vir meer inligting oor hierdie dag. Landbougeleenthede wat dan nou ook min raak soos ons aan die einde van die jaar kom. Dit is waarvoor ons vandag tyd het. Die jaar staan einde se kant toe. Volgende week, selfde tyd, selfde plek, maak ons weer so mooi boer.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Did you know you can buy a new or second-hand vehicle, such as light delivery vans, trailers, small trucks and tractors for agricultural use? The repayment period for these vehicles ranges between 5 and 10 years. Contact your nearest AgriBank branch or visit our website at www.agribank.com.na for more information about this loan product. You can also visit us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube. AgriBank, your all-season bank.